Hello, everyone, Paul here. Today I have a very powerful strategy to show you guys. This is a new strategy that I pretty much use for all my forms of trading. I use it for the stock market, crypto, and especially for Forex. And from what I can see, and I've only done this once for Forex. I did it last night and I got some pretty good results. I'm going to show you the results from using this strategy. But this is not, you don't use, the only thing you use is relative strength index, and you have to study the candles. The candles, for this strategy, you only observe. I do it on the hour, but you can do whatever time frame you want, but I find the hour the most helpful because you get the most data from it. But basically, you're reading the last two candles, and then you're making your judgment on that third candle. So you're looking at the previous two candles, and then you make your judgment on that third candle. So what I would do is I will look at the last two candles, and then I'll enter my trade on the whatever time frame you're doing. So if you're doing the hour, I would enter my trade at the start of the new hour. If the candles from the previous 2 hours reach my criteria. So I'm gonna walk you through the process. It's real simple. I'm gonna show you, kind of walk you through what you need to look for with this strategy. It's very bare bone. You don't need moving averages for it. It tends to, I think, work even better than loading up with moving averages and indicators. Because what you're really looking at is the momentum of the candles and how far they've gone over the last 2 hours. So I'm going to load up the charts and I'll show you how to apply this. Okay, so before I begin, I'm going to show you some proof that this method kind of works, because I tested this out on a demo account. And just ignore that -9 there. That was the trade that I got stuck in. But this is a demo account, not a real account. But I tested this on these top three right here, and it returned me 80 lot size, made 2,000, 80 lot size, made 1,000, 80 lot size, made about $213. So I based this strategy that I'm about to teach you off of that strategy. And the strategy is very simple, and you really have to look at before you make your judgment here, you have to look at the last two candles, and you have to look at the wicks. You have to look at the wicks. Now I'm on the hour here. You have to look at the wicks of the last 2 hours. So your decision is you look at the wicks. So you got to see the strength in the wicks. So looking at this previous candle here, and this candle, we're on the Japan yen here, but you see this candle here, and then you see this candle here, and you see the wick. You see the wick is longer. It's gone farther than the previous wick, which that tells me it's getting stronger. The trend upward is getting stronger. So because from this wick to this wick, and this wick traveled farther than the previous wick, that tells me that it is a strong bullish trend going on here. So what I would do is, at the start of the third candle coming out here, I would put in a buy order, because I see signs of bullish right here with just these two candles. So we can look at two other candles here. We'll give a couple other examples here. Now, if you're doing this, you only need to focus on the wicks from the top. You can't focus on the wicks from the bottom. I'll probably go over that tomorrow. But basically, you want to look at the wicks on the top, and you want to see if the wicks at the top are showing, and you want to see how far the wicks have traveled from each other from the previous two candles. So when you see that not happening, like these there's a bunch of indecision here, and you could tell that the candle is very weak. So these would not be trades to take, because if you have your volume here, you can see that it is very weak. You can see that the candle's not moving much. It's not going up or down. So these are sideways, and you can really tell just by looking at this. What you want to look for is either you want to look for the wick going further, or you want to look for the wick getting weaker. So it's a 3 candle strategy here. So we can tell right here, right here, we see the wick here is small, and this wick traveled farther than this wick. So what I would do, it's not 100%, but at the start of the new hour, I would come in and potentially I would ride this 3rd candle, and I would only ride it for that hour. So I would ride this right here, 64 pips right there. So what do you want to do? You want to look. You want to look for moments where there's a lot of volume, a lot of momentum. Where it seems to be consolidating or getting weaker, you want to stay away from that. You'll notice that it has a lot of volume by looking at your volume here on the bottom. And if you could just check, previous volume here, and you can see how much that volume was. And you could already tell if it had a lot of volume in the last 2 hours. So we had another couple examples here. This wick traveled farther than this previous wick here. So what I would have done here is I would come at the start of the new hour and I would ride out that 3rd candle. So this one here, I would ride this one out, and I would make, that would have been 143 pips right there. Now this isn't 100% winning here. There'll be some, it all depends. You just got to find the good moments and the moments that have a lot of volume. Okay, so moments like this. Now, moments like this, we see this wick is good, but then all the wicks are about the same length. So this to me is a resistance area. So I would actually, when you see all the wicks and they have not gone any further, that to me shows a resistance area. I would draw a line there because it tapped it 3 times, tried to tap it, and it got rejected and it went down. Ultimately, it went down because of those wicks. So you could use this as a way to find some resistance too. If all the wicks are like they're not moving any further. Let's go find some other examples here. Okay, so we got a wick here, and then we see this wick has traveled farther than the previous wick. So on the 3rd candle, I would come in at the start of the new hour, the new candle, and I would ride this one out, and from here to here, this was 293 pips. So that would have been a good move. Now, when I do ride the candle for the 3rd candle, I only do it for that hour. I don't go any longer than that. I only ride it for that hour. And then we see a bunch of consolidation, a bunch of weak candles. And then here's another example here. This wick is longer than this wick, so I would have got in on this candle, this 3rd candle right here, and I would have rode it out, and I would have made 85 pips. Now let's just see what the strategy would be on a downtrend. Now what you want to look for really for uptrends really is the wick on the top. When you're dealing with the downtrend, you want to look for a moment where the wick is not showing at the top. If it's a red candle and the wick is not showing at the top, that it's really the opposite. So if you want good momentum in the downtrend here, you have to look for the wicks on the bottom here. So what you're looking at here, we see momentum on the downside here, and it's the same thing. This wick traveled farther than this wick, so I would get in here on this 3rd candle, right about here, and you rode that one out and you would have made 243. So let's just see if this happens on the downturn here, downtrend. So what you want to look for, if you're doing it on the downtrend, you want to make sure there is no wick showing at the top, because if there was a wick showing at the top, that shows that the bulls and bears are fighting, and if there's no wick at the top, it means a very weakish bearish moment. So you really have to do the opposite here. You have to look for a wick that has traveled farther than the previous wick. So we see that happening on this candle. We see this wick travels farther than this wick. So I had to come in on this wick right here, this third wick. See, this wick traveled farther than this wick, so I would come in on this one and I would ride it out. And that's almost 200 pips. So let's just do a couple more times. Now, you wouldn't want to come in on this candle because you see the wick coming out of here. The bulls and bears are fighting on this candle, but not on this one here. You don't see any wicks here. So you would actually come in on the third candle, which would be, you see that this wick traveled farther than the previous wick, so you would come in on that third one right there. And let's measure that one real quick. So this third one would be the one you get in. And this is 184 pips. So you can see that this strategy is very, very effective. It is the new strategy that I use. I use this strategy mainly for Forex because there's a lot of volume and momentum when it comes to Forex, and it actually works really well if you follow this for Forex. But it'll also work for all the things. It'll work for the stock market. It'll work for crypto. But I see it work the best right now. It works for Forex because for the first time yesterday, I was actually in the positive, and that's after I used this strategy. So anyway, I think it works really well. I'll probably mention this strategy again a couple more times because I find it very, very helpful. I want to show you guys if this strategy is working really well. Check my community tab and I'll make some posts if it's continually working for me. But what I'm using this strategy for is really to pass the prop firm challenge. I'm trying to test to see if you can not get the drawdown from using the strategy, and if you can make your quoted price for what is required for a prop firm challenge. That's what I'm looking at, and I'm doing that on demo before I do another prop firm challenge. But either way, this strategy works for Forex, it works for crypto, and it works for the stock market from what I can see right now. But anyway, if you guys like the strategy, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you guys in future videos.